Okay, before we start where we left off, in Chabad the custom is that for the next 12 days, starting today, we don't say Tachanun. The reason for that very simply is today was Rosh Chodesh, no Tachanun. Tomorrow is called Yom HaMiyuchas. Yom HaMiyuchas, the Pasuk says on Bais Sivan, the second day of Sivan, Hashem said to the Jewish people, "Va'atem tili mamlechas kayanim v'goy kodesh." You'll be to me mamlechas kayanim, a kingdom of priests, v'goy kodesh, and holy nation. That became the identification, so to speak, of the Jewish people. So it's a very special day, so we don't say Tachanun. Then the third, fourth, and fifth are what's called Shleishis Yemei Hagbala, which literally means that's what Moshe Rabbeinu was told by Hashem: separate the Jews from the mountain. Hagbala Sa'arvi Kidash. You have to make a boundary. So those were the three preparatory days towards Shavuos. Therefore, in a lot of places they make weddings, Shleishis Yemei Hagbala. They take haircuts. They listen to music. All the dinim of Sfira basically don't apply. In Chabad, the custom is, even though halachically, starting tomorrow night, Monday night, which begins the Shleishis Yemei Hagbala, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, but Chabad, the Rebbe Rashab didn't want people to take haircuts until actually Erev Shavuos. So therefore, according to our custom, Thursday is Erev Yom Tov, so either Wednesday night after Ma'ariv or Thursday, then that's when we take haircuts. So anyway, and then you have 2 days Shavuos. Okay, so you have the first day, second day, Mamlechas Kenim, Shleishis Yemei Hagbala. Then you have the 2 days of Shavuos. Obviously, there's no Tachanun. Then you have what's called the Shivas Yemei HaTashlumin. Shivas Yemei HaTashlumin means as follows. In the time of the Beis HaMikdash, when Jews came up to the Beis HaMikdash, every Jew had an obligation to bring various korbanos. They had to bring a korban chagiga, they had to bring a korban eilasriya, they had to bring korbanos to the Beis HaMikdash. Now, in a normal Yom Tif, like Pesach and Sukkot, you have a Chol HaMoed, so you have days in the Yom Tif that you were able to bring the korban. So everybody was able to bring the korban that week. Shavuos in the Beis HaMikdash is only 1 day. You can't have everybody bring the korbanos in 1 day. So the Torah allows that, just like Pesach is 7 days and Sukkot is 7 days, so they allowed the day of Shavuos plus 7 days more that you can bring what's called Yemei HaTashlumim. Those are the days that you're able to make up to bring the korbanos that you were obligated in the Yom Tov of Shavuos. Therefore, according to many opinions in halacha, not everybody, but according to many opinions in halacha, that is also part and the continuation of the Yom Tov of Shavuos. So therefore, it's still a Yom Tov, and therefore, according to our custom, we don't say Tachanun through the 12th, and then starting the 13th, we say start again Tachanun. What?
Why is it in some places that Shavuot is called Atzeres?
The Torah calls it Atzeres. Atzeres L'Hashem Elokecha. It's a holding back from the revelations of Pesach. In other words, to give an example, the Eliyahu Rabbah, I believe it is. Yeah. The Eliyahu Rabbah says that just like you have a Yom Tif, you have the first days, the last days in Chol HaMoed. So Pesach, he says, is the first days of Yom Tif. Shavuos are the last days of Yom Tif. And Sfira is the Chol HaMoed. So it's also called Atzeres, holding back all the revelations of Matan Torah, the revelations of the Yom Tif. That's the difference than why it's called Atzeres.
What did they do with all this beef that came to Yerushalayim?
Well, certain korbanos were completely burnt. Ola, korban ola was a burnt offering. Most of the other korbanos, it depends. Like a sin offering was eaten by the kohanim. Part of the mizbeach, part of the kohanim. Korban shlomim, the mizbeach ate part, the kohanim ate part, the owners ate part.
A lot of beef.
There was a lot of beef and a lot of people, and in fact it says that the Beis HaMikdash employed a full-time doctor, maybe even more, but they had a full-time doctor, because the Kohanim were getting sick a lot. Why? Number one, the Beis HaMikdash was stone, floor. Kohanim were not allowed to wear shoes, so they worked barefoot on a stone floor, which is cold, especially during the winter time. And one second. And they ate a lot of meat. So if you eat a lot of meat and you stand on a stone floor barefooted, so you're going to get sick. So they had doctors always in the Bais Din. What did they do with the meat? The families ate it. It depends what type of carb.
They didn't have the vigil.
But Jews, you ever notice when there's a big function, you put down a lot of food, it's finished by the end of the function? What? Torah says there shouldn't be a chatzitza separation between their bodies and the floor of the Bais Din. So they had to wear a shoe, barefoot.
I think the problem was they had meat, but they didn't have wine. They can't have wine. That's what
Kainim, you mean mashke? Mashke they were allowed to, maybe they were allowed to drink. But yeah, you're right, the Kohen couldn't drink wine.
Not even a little bit?
Not an avius of wine would invalidate Aved. If he did, he would be chayiv mitzvah. Huh? Not the people, not the Kohen that were working. That meat, not wine.
How many people were working at a time?
Well, on Yom Tiv, all the shifts were... Okay, we're getting off topic. David HaMelech and Shmuel, a Navi and David HaMelech, divided the Kohanim into 24 families. 24 Mishmeres, they were called. Originally, it was Aaron and his 4 kids. 2 died and 2 left. But that was at the beginning. Then, in the days of Shmuel HaNavi and David HaMelech, they divided the Kohanim and Leviim into 24 Mishmeres. 24 families, so to speak. Now, then in each family, it was divided into what's called Beis Av. Beis Av means within the general family, there were detailed families. So, what was in the Beis Hamikdash, that family, the Mishmer family, the bigger family, worked a week in the Bais Din. So if you have 24 times 2 is 48. So every family worked 2 weeks a year in the Bais Din. 2 weeks a year. Okay? Then you had Yom Tiv, all the shifts worked. Then in each Mishmeres, you had what's called Beis Av. So the Beis Av means that particular family worked Sunday and Monday and Tuesday, the different families within that family worked each day of the week. So, and the rest of the time, they whatever they did. What? Retired. Then they were allowed to drink wine, by the way. So it's only the weeks they were working they were not allowed to drink wine. But otherwise they could drink wine. Okay, let's go. Next is Siman in Kitzur that we're going to talk about. Okay, so last time we learned about washing the Tilas Yadayim, right? All the various different dinim. Next is B'tzias HaPas and Birchas HaMeitzi. Now, we learned last time, when do you wash? And any amount of bread you have to wash. You only make a bracha if you eat a kibetza of bread, which is 2 ounces of bread. If you're eating less than 2 ounces of bread, we learned you have to wash, but you're not allowed to make a bracha. You can only make a bracha if you can eat 2 ounces, because it's called kibetza, which is 2 ounces of bread. Benching 1 ounce is enough. For Netilas Yadayim you have to make, in order to make the bracha, you have to eat the kibetza, but even if you eat a drop, you still have to wash, but without a bracha. So now it comes to the bracha.
How many ounces is each challah that they cook for Shabbat? So,
You have chalas like this, you have chalas like this, you have chalas like this, you have chalas like this. And then you see those big ones. What size is a challah?
No, the ones like for
It depends. If you look on the sometimes they sell it in a pack of 6. You know what I mean? So if you see on the pack, it says 12 ounces, net weight 12 ounces, and you know there's 6 challahs in there, then you know each challah is 2 ounces. Usually the challah, I don't mean the small ones, the average size ones that we eat here, you can count as a kibetza. No, one. One.
You could have a kazayit without the bracha, but you still have to say Birkat HaMazon?
Yeah, Birkat HaMazon you say anyway.
You wash, you don't say HaMazon, but you still bench.
Correct. If somebody... What?
You do say how much you don't bench.
You don't say Chetzi.
No, he said, one second. So I didn't hear what he said.
Start from beginning.
If you eat one kazayas of bread, yes? You wash, you do not make al netil sedayim. You make a meitzi, and you do bechat hamazon. You bench.
You don't say the first name?
No. We just said, al netil sedayim you only make when you eat 2 ounces. Okay? So if somebody, for practical purposes, let's say, for argument's sake, a slice of rye bread is 1 ounce. That's approximately, you have a pound of bread, it's approximately 16 slices. So let's say, for argument's sake, you're eating 1 slice of bread, okay? Which is a kazayas. So then you have to wash, no al netilas yadayim, you make a meitzi and you have to bench. If you eat a sandwich with 2 slices of bread, then you have to make al netilas yadayim, a meitzi, and you have to do berchet hamazon. Now there are times, what happens if somebody sat down, and you have this many times by Shabbos meals, you have this many times by weddings, by mitzvahs, many times, and this is relevant here by the way, let's go back to where we belong. So what happens if somebody sits down to a wedding, there's a lot of food, but they want to wash, so they wash, they know they're not going to eat 2 ounces, they don't make a bracha until Sidayim. But they end up eating a half a piece of bread, a half a roll. Yeah? So now normally, on a half a kazayis, you don't bench. But in Shulchan Aruch there's a din, if you ate a half an ounce, whatever, yeah? And you ate other food, and you got full from the other food, you still have to do birchat hamazon, even though you didn't eat a whole kazayis of bread. It's not something which lechatchila should be done. You should eat the whole kazayis of bread. But this happens a lot of times. People come, shalosh shudas, they make a meitzi, and they eat a little piece, and then they go to the back and they take everything that's on the back wall, 3 portions, and they get full. So then you have to bench. What happens if you eat a half a kazayis of bread and you don't get full from the other stuff? Then you have to make an after bracha, but you don't bench. You either make, that's if you eat a half an ounce of bread, a half an ounce of cake, you make ala michya. If you eat a half an ounce of cake and a half an ounce of potato salad, then you make a bari nefashos. If you have 2 half a kazaysim, yeah, and one after bracha, one is another after bracha, you make the lesser one. In other words, if it's hameitzi mezainis, you make a mezainis. If it's a mezainis and a bari nefashos, you make a bari nefashos. That's what it is.
So just half an ounce bread, is it
If somebody just washes and makes a meitzi, not on just a dime, and they eat a half an ounce of bread, and that's it. The after bracha is no after bracha. No. But another din that we're going to learn later, much later, that you don't combine the food and drink. Let's say somebody ate a half a kazayas of an apple, okay, and half a kazayas of potato salad. They're both foods. No, I'm sorry. They would have the same after bracha. You have a half a kazayas of, what did I just say? Liquid. And they would, didn't would apply. Have a half a revius of liquid, half a kazayas of potato salad. Okay? You don't make a bari nefashos. Because food and drink don't combine. Food and food combine. So if you eat half a kazayas of an apple, which is bari nefashos, half a kazayas of potato salad, which is bari nefashos, you make a bari nefashos. What happens if you eat a half a kazayas of cake and a half a kazayas of potato salad? So then you make a bari nefashos. But that's when you have food and food with different after brachas. But if you drink a half a revius of wine, wine doesn't matter. You drink a half a revius of juice and a half a revius of potato salad, you don't make an after bracha because food and drink don't combine.
Has to be at least 1 ounce?
Yeah.
So if the after bracha is michla and peiris, like a half kazayas of grapes and half.
So that's a machlekes and halacha. Can you say the bracha because it's you same, but it's the pearl. Some people say it's a different bracha. So it's a machlekes. So it's a bracha. What? No. It's only by bread.
So what do you do in that case?
You make sure not to eat it like that. No, what do you do? No.
What if you don't want
What?
to eat?
If someone had like a Zenis, and you're gonna say, but they also had a tiny bit of grape juice, not enough to make an after bracha. Can they add?
Yeah, it's a one, they're saying alamicha, they can add alagav up here. Yeah. What?
Let's say a person has a line that he washes and has less ounces.
And then he changes his mind.
He changes his mind and then while it's time to eat,
He doesn't make Antel Sedaim, it's too late already. He can eat more, we just did the mitzvah without a bracha, that's all. Okay. Machat shin sumayim sumayim machat beva mayim kim shabla gal teira b'chanan menakashem et.